Okay, Edward Saunders in the Chasm. I'm from Kisatwan First Nation. Thank you for coming. I'll try to make it brief. I'll just summarize my our work, the process we took to protect a burial site or an interest that is valuable to a community. So again, protecting values, then improving lives. What lives we're improving? We're improving our future generation. When we protect a land or waterways, we're protecting and improving lives for our kids, our grandchildren. So keep that in mind. Okay. First, this is my slides. As I worked, First Nation people have used and occupied the lands for thousands of years, as we all know. Areas of culture, spiritual significance, most to identify, protect, withdrawal from areas of staking, exploration for the preservation of a culture and generations. This is Mittagam, and this is where we cleared a pathway to a gravesite in one of our journeys. Pictograms, occupancy, where you hunt, trap. This is my land. This is not my land, but my father's land. That's where you hunt, trap. It's called Manaunan, James Bay. It's 60 miles south along James Bay from Fort Albany, Saskatchewan. And this is one of our excursions during the winter time. Most of the grave sites we go are inland, so we have to go there during the winter. But during the summer, it's more easier to access. The burial sites are along the shores. So gathering places, nesting and calving. So we have to preserve these again for our youth. We have to. We have no choice, but we have to. So again, provisional area of provisional protection. As we know, this is under MNDM, by the way, MNDM protection sites. As we know, there's a lot of mining, exploration, prospecting going on in the area. But if you're working on your land use plan in the process, and you want to protect an area before the miners start staking it all over there, you could protect it while you're working on your land use plan before you implement it or passed by the MNR and the First Nation community. So this is a good tool to work on now. And protected areas like the James Bay. This is the sunrise of the bay. This is the bay. This is our area, our desert land. Every morning since I was able to walk, me and my father used to watch the sunrise every morning, way back. So good memories. Again, order. I can't see too well. At the request of the First Nation under the subsection 1 of the OM initiative, the ministry may, can you read it for me? I can't write too blurry.
May make the order described in that subsection if the minister is of the opinion that the prescribed criteria have been met.
Yep. And effect of the order, but this is under MNDM. So request of the withdrawal from mining, staking. And there's sections here, and applications have to follow on the Assessment Act, then the termination of order. Fortunately, there is one under MNDM. If you protect something, and if you see diamonds where you're protecting, you see diamonds at the bottom or timberlake, you can reverse the order and terminate it. But that can be addressed on the new strategy you're working on. Okay. Protected areas. This is a grave burial site that's been maintained for many generations. An elder was a big sturgeon, the Albany River. We have to protect the river systems. Geese flying off is one of the inlets of the protected areas. Prospecting, mining, staking, mineral exploration, opening a mine in the prescribed circumstances. I'm not too, I can't speak too much English, but I'm very comfortable with my own language, so this is my first time speaking English, so bear with me. I'm very fluent in Cree. I always speak my language in my home community, so having that time twisting my tongues around, switching over. Oil and gas exploration or production, construction, facility, all that, water act and all that, ministry because a person, and it's in the act again. Good. So the first step, I'm going to take you step by step as how we protect our burial site. First, I go with elders, some youth, go into the land, GPS a burial site or something important that is valuable to the community. We clear cut it, make a sign or an indication on the respect to the person. Some individuals want to cross a crucifix, some just belonging, so we have to respect that. And after that, we come back and we fill out a BCR. A BCR, whose burial site, the family, why we want to protect it. We put on the coordinates of the burial site, the indigenous name. The name was used thousands of years from our ancestors, so we use that one because it's our land. Can't change for it. And the signatories. So this goes to MNDM. One of the. Okay, go ahead. Then the application. We use the same coordinates as the BCR. Why we want to withdraw the BCR number. Then this is the actual order to protect it, to protect the burial site. This is the order number. Go ahead. So this is one of the burial sites where protected. It's 16 hectares in area, but you can go up to 25 if it's a big area. If there's a lot of burial sites, but this one is single one. 16 hectares, and this is the. Most of you probably aware of this. This is the MND website. And this is the, where is it? Yeah, here. So it shows in the claims map. Right. So in larger scales, we're in the process of working larger scale withdrawals. This is a river, and this individual wanted to protect this, larger scale models. One individual wants to protect the Albany River, and this one. These are prime herbal habitat, nesting, calving, gamma scalene. You have to talk to Nunavut for that, I guess. Nunavut. So we're working on this process. We have to talk to our relatives, not really, but for Albany First Nation on this one, the Albany River. Constance Lake. So we're in the process of the parks. We're probably going to do in the park or something, but we're still in the process on that with our council. Right. So land use planning. So this is a map of Temagami. So if we want to leave a legacy, values for our youth in the future, you develop this kind of map. Historical map. That's where we're aiming at. We want to develop this, the roots, all the roots, migration sites, everything that an elder can remember to pass on to the youth. So that's a value that we can't oversee. So it's we have to. So land use plan provides strategy to the chief and councils with regards to the conservation, protection, management, and development of the natural resources within the KFN traditional territory. So the major areas of focus are provisional and protection forestry development, land use planning, elders advisory committee, focus on mining and mineral resource development, potential resource economic development, historic map, and current data. This one, this is an example from Tamagami. So, yeah, go ahead. What was the values collection project? What is the value project? The collection of traditional values project came about as a response to the Modernized Ontario Mining Act 2009. KFN Council and Land Use Planning Coordinator worked together to develop a project that would identify culturally and spiritually significant scarce values in the territory, identify use and occupancy, capture our history for our youth, again, and history of lands and waters and for our youth, so we won't lose the history of our eldest stories, experiences, language, indigenous place names, of our rivers, lakes, etc. We have to document everything that our elders named before, way before they were changed to English names. So it's a great educational tool for our students, educators, knowledge of our ancestral and traditional lands, document and preserve information, our elders and harvesters. So this is a good thing to document everything, because we were verbal, we used to teach verbally, so documentation is very important these days for any means, court cases, jurisdictional cases, all that stuff. Okay. So these are some pictures during I try to show people I do my presentations, like harvesting in our area, or any area, up north is very strong, like moose tracking, the elder again who's a student, goose hunting, moose hunting, and upriver, Albany, our youth experience hunting as we hunt before, to be a clean environment instead of encountering prospectors and exploration companies all over. We have to do it for our elders. Herbal medicines, this guy's picking seeds, and moose hunting. This guy got 4 moose, I think. But they do share with elders, so they do share with elders. Okay, go ahead. So some of our data collections. I have two guys working with me who've been trained in data collection from elders, youth, harvesters, anybody who can contribute to the land use plan. We don't exclude anybody. We interview women because they do a lot of harvesting also themselves, women. Interviews are scheduled and conducted at either the land use office or in homes, wherever the interview is most comfortable. So an elder, he's comfortable at home. So traditional values were captured. So these are the map skills we're using. So this is the guy who has good taste in country music. Don't look forward to traveling back though with him, all his music. But I have to. Okay, go ahead. So communication. Communication is a very important tool. If we don't have proper communication protocols, guidelines, everything gets confusing and misinformation. These are my elders I work with in the MNR folks. And my elders again talking to youth about land use planning. We take them to an island or away from the enclosed thing. We take them to the land, and I always talk to them there. We feed them, and they like it. So it's very important to keep the First Nation chiefs and up to date on the projects and the community members. Regular updates when given at meetings and information to members through the community newsletters, discussing with elders and youth on withdrawal, burial sites, and identifying protected areas and importance of documenting our homelands. So very important to document again, very important. Right. So these are data. During the interviews, we interview maps for interviewer first meeting potential resource development, map atlases to collect data for the project. I don't like the word project, but I keep putting it. It's not a project, it's mapping our history. It's not a project, it's our homelands. But it's a terminology that our counterparts use, like MNR. They use project significance, you know. But we have to sort of work together on it. So this is the initial mapping. Elder or youth point out where the sacred sites are, where they hunt, where they want something protected. This is a small protected area where they gather herbal berries, whatever they value. So, and after that, all this data, they scanned it. My workers scanned it, and we scanned it, and transferred to the digital. So this is the digital one, where they use GIS. They pinpoint everything, every goose, every moose, every cabinary that Ellis point. This is all these hunting, goose, everything. And this is good documentation for land use planning and for talking to the government and the conservation authorities that are out there. So again, Atlas collected data for the project, maps accompanied by First Nations sites and Aboriginal withdrawals, values displayed as genetic points and polygons. So very important information again to keep and preserve. Right. So this is another one again, our withdrawal site, 16 by 16 hectares. The project has gathered valuable First Nation use and occupancy data that must be protected. Value has been shared with MNDM and mining industry for open dialogue of areas and protection during application of exploration phase and mining cycle. Withdrawals of culture areas of significance and scarce sites from future staking and being done through Section 35 of the Mine Act. So.
When you say values being shared with MNDM, can you elaborate? So I think that probably raises some eyebrows when people hear that your values are being shared with MNDM.
Okay, when you share, I mean just to share on the table, but not to give it to them, and you know, but we have to ask the individual who had intellectual property rights, the elder, the youth, but we share what he wants to share to work to develop this. If we don't share, we can't get this. So,
share for the purpose of
yeah, not to share to give it away and scatter away like tree leaves in a windy day.
Thanks for clarifying.
Okay, yeah. Okay, go ahead. So this is an example from Chapleau, I think. Misnabi. Just want to show it. This is a process retaking. They're protecting areas, a large-scale area. Large-scale areas are shared significant, also being identified withdrawal from further staking. Saskatchewan will continue to work with MNDM on potential withdrawals on large scale. Like the other slide I showed you, the river systems. So this is Misnabi is working on. I got a lot of guidance from them. So yeah, First Nation had to help each other, you know, ideas, share ideas. So we're in the process of doing this. Large-scale areas for protection, parks they call them. Okay. But the most important thing, our elders always remind us, our youth, treaty rights. They always have to be included in every document the government has or want to share with you, like the one that was presented. I don't recall seeing treaty rights there, or I don't recall the treaty as identified there, but I'm not sure, I didn't read it over yet. But treaty rights, that's our right, I guess you all know. It's very high, it's constitutional. No one can, it's, a government has to include that in their document because it's a constitution. You know, it's the highest level of law. They have to include it in every document they produce. If they don't, they're breaking the Constitution, your rights. So again, I'm too blurry, this one.
You probably don't have to read it.
You know, okay.
The presentation will be shared with everyone.
Okay, all right, Caroline. So this is our planning area. Again, I'm using that term that MNR used, planning area, but it's not our planning area. We just document in our land. You know, we don't plan for it. We didn't plan it for that area for many generations. We just document in our land. So our rivers, everything. So this is our area we're documenting for the purpose of our ministries, our government, and our youth again. We can't emphasize youth. We have to continue to, you know, educate them as we go along. So this, I don't know, I think I put a lecture here somewhere. Here we go. 40,000 hectares out in the Dame. And this is our community right here for Albany, our neighbors. So hopefully we'll get to work together soon. Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to show that. So challenges, the length of time of negotiation and secure a funding agreement. So it's one of the challenges sometimes. Underestimate the amount of training that is required. Sometimes when we put up a training for our youth or our workers, government say, "Oh, we only have this much money," you know, and we can't train our community with a high potential to work towards a land use plan. So, project ended before all communities had completed their data collection. So that challenge, that's a fear. If they're telling you the next government says, "Well, land use plan is cut off," so we're kind of left out floating in a bay without a paddle. So, interviewing other town elders and members. So we have a lot of elders out in the community for health reasons or education, whatever they out there housing. So we have to reach everybody to have a very strong land use plan and data. Low water levels, where I'm from, we have to go out in the spring where the water levels are high to get into the burial sites or the things we value for protection. And again, cash flow from our own First Nations. Sometimes when we want to go out, the cash flow is not there because they overspend it. So that's a challenge we have sometimes. But, okay, go ahead. Moving forward, so I'm just going to summarize because I don't know how much time I have. Probably getting close to 10:30. So moving forward, we have to follow some certain criteria, principles in our own terms. So the government wants to rush you, right? You can't rush if you document a culture that's been there for thousands of years. It's not documenting a community. It's documenting the whole region where the First Nation, respected First Nation territories. You can't rush it. You have to document it well. It's a challenge, but it has to be done. I know the government says you got to hurry up, you got to do this, you got to do that. So they say First Nations are taking the lead role, but sometimes it overturns and they come and do stuff. Okay. Okay. We're in terms of reference right now. We're in the final draft of terms of reference. We have to do ratification with the community, chief and council, and we have to talk to our neighboring communities before we ratify the for Albany. Okay. Again, moving forward, historically, and for the youth, education purposes, indigenous names, capture, preserve elders' knowledge and legends. And also indigenous names of the wildflower, waterfowl, birds, etc. So all the indigenous people have to capture on that land use plan. Again, to the youth to reference it in the future. All right. So that's my presentation summarized. You guys, thank you for listening.